So, are there any BlackBerry users here? BlackBerry? Just the one? Oh, okay. So from our data, we've seen that iPhone and Android today are in everyone's mind. Okay, if I walked in the street and asked someone, hey, what's the device would you buy if you lost your device today? They'll be saying iPhone or Android. Okay, it's pretty much the case across the globe. In every country, this is pretty much the pattern that we're seeing. And in Hong Kong, so if you can't see the little match here, this blue patch here is iPhone. Okay, so iPhone is a huge percentage, beyond 60% of all traffic today in Hong Kong is generated by iPhone. The blue patch here is Android. Okay, and this patch here is amazingly iPad. So with the 2-3 iPad users here, you're making up 5% of total traffic in Hong Kong. There are some serious implications to that, which I'll come to afterwards. So, like I mentioned earlier, in Hong Kong, iPhone and Android are really the top two devices today in terms of a tool for you marketers out there. Okay. So this map is it's inventory growth in the AdMob network. Okay. What that means is every user who has an iPhone or an Android device or any device who is on our network will generate page views. So these are the numbers. Well, this is the growth will last about year-ish. As you can see, this has grown 5,000% over 12 months. It's staggering. It's staggering growth, and it's a staggering opportunity for you guys too. We've done some researchers across the globe asking people, asking people and measuring the type of usage pattern that they've been using, and they're going forward how they plan to use it. Okay. On a yearly basis, we're seeing over 20% growth. That means if I were to spend 10 minutes per day, using my phone, next year I'll be spending 20% more, and then 20% more, and 20% more. Okay, doesn't sound a lot, but and this is just in the last 3 years. Okay, what we've seen is that the number of apps today that's growing, it's driving usage. In fact, you see this 28% from here to here, and you see 21% from here to here. So next year, we expect this thing to go up to 35% or more, just because it's driven by content. Okay, I'm sure you guys have heard content is king, right? In many internet literature, content is king, and certainly king here as well. So in the last 2 years, there most of the growth has been driven by iPhone apps, and that was the beginning of iPhone. Okay. Now we have Android and the Android market, and we have a lot more apps today going into the iPhone App Store. So that's gonna drive a lot more growth for the next few years here. Maybe next year when you guys come back, we can check back to see some of my predictions here. But that number, I expect to grow beyond 35% year on year. Good. I mentioned tablet is important. Tablet is huge because it fills a gap that previously wasn't there to fill. Well, let me say it another way. Steve Jobs has managed to create a product and a need that previously wasn't there. I mean, Steve Jobs is a great marketer, right? He can create something and say, you need this, and everyone needs it, right? I mean, when it first came out, when iPad first came out without the 3G capability, I was like thinking, it's a huge phone, all right, how do I hold it? It's like this, and I can only use it in a Wi-Fi area. What else can I do with it? So at that time, when iPad first came out, I was like taking the piss out of Steve. What kind of thing is this? Now I'm really convinced that iPad is huge and iPad is necessary because just because of all the data that we've seen, iPad has seriously blown a lot of other things away. I'll show you some numbers. So iPad. So iPads really started around this time. Okay, if you look at our inventory at this point, pretty much next to zero, and then it just boomed. Okay. Within 6 months, it's grown from nothing to this huge number here. We can't really share what those numbers are, but as an index, this is the kind of growth that has gone through. Okay, within 6 months, and look at the unique users. When I say unique users, I mean, so if you run a campaign on iPad, the number of unique users there are the total number of unique users your ads will show up. Make sense? So that's your total population or potential. Again, we can't share those numbers, but if you trust me, that's a huge number. Okay, I can't really talk about those numbers now, but trust me, those numbers are huge, and the type of, well, I'll go into next few slides to show you why iPad is so interesting. So, a lot of users are saying, hey, iPad is the next new favorite device that they'll buy. Why is that? I mean, so a big portion is that, I see, you have an iPad, I want an iPad too, right? That's one thing. There are also users who are not too happy with the size of the mobile device to browse the internet and all that stuff. An iPad or any of the tabs just make it a lot more comfortable to use. Okay, so whatever the reason is, iPad is now the next hot device. Okay, well, for marketers like yourself, it's even more interesting because tablet users spend more than 50% of the time. Okay, but more importantly, conversion rates on tablets are higher, or at least equal or higher than PCs. So if you were to run a campaign on the standard desktop, and you run another campaign on iPad, you can expect your return to be proportionately higher in terms of conversion. Okay. And then because tablets are neither a desktop, PC, and it's not really a mobile device, so it's sort of in between desktop and mobile device. So you get a lower CPC, right, as you can probably imagine. But because it's more than a mobile device, so the time spent on iPad is actually higher. Are you guys familiar with the difference in time spent on mobile device versus PC? So in general, mobile device attention span is a lot shorter, right? If you use a mobile device, you can't look at your screen for too long, whereas on the desktop, you look at it a lot longer, right? Pads are sort of in between, okay? So, if you have a mobile campaign and you're targeting pads, you know that the users are going to spend more time on the sites compared to a mobile device. Like they will spend probably less time or the same amount of time on a PC. Okay, so that's pretty important in understanding how you want to structure your campaign. I'll run through some examples afterwards to show you how you can play with those pieces. So, because pads, like I mentioned, they're not mobile device, so it's a lot more comfortable to use. So on the search piece, literally these guys can just go directly to the standard desktop page of search. Okay. And the user experience won't be any worse than on desktop. Okay, the tabs, the screen size are big enough such that you have this comfort level in spending more time on it. And then for search, so if you guys have done mobile search on your phone, you'll see that the screen is radically different. It's a lot smaller, and a lot of this stuff that you see on the side, they don't appear on a mobile phone, right? But on pads, they do because the screen is now bigger. Okay, so you have the same sort of potential when you promote something on the pad. Just because the screen is bigger and you have more real estate that you can throw things.